many of you have ever been in a place in your life where you needed some restoration? Where you felt like life had maybe beat you up, or maybe you felt like you didn't have much worth, but God knows all of our worth because He only made one of you. He only made one of me. And we are so priceless to Him. So I was going to read this to you this morning. Any of you like cars? You like old cars? Some of you like cars, so you'll like this. People spend massive amounts of money to restore classic cars. And some of the most expensive cars are the ones that weren't made in mass quantity. So if there were only 500 made, the price, even all rusted out, often cost more than the price of the car when it was brand new. People pay lots of money and spend countless dollars restoring their cars to their original beauty. In this popular hobby, rarity equals value. So with that in mind, I can't help but feel special. I knew that God paid for me an amount that's, let me start this one over. I knew God paid an amount for me that seems outrageous. But why? Like the car that to the naked eye seems like junkyard material, and yet to a true car collector is worth millions. I was junkyard material to a lot of people, but God saw the value. You see, He knows that I wasn't made in mass quantity. There weren't even only 500 made. There was only one. There's only one original Chris Taylor. There's only one original you. And I'm currently in this fortress of a shop, in the care and ownership of God. Restoration sounds like such a beautiful thing, which it is. But the process isn't as easy or painless as I thought it would be. I guess I figured that since I still run, the process would be simple. Clean me up, paint me, and change my oil so I can go another 3,000 miles while looking good. My thoughts were, if I can just pass inspection, I'm all right. But boy, was I wrong. When I came into the shop, I was completely taken apart. All the aftermarket parts were taken away, and I was stripped to nothing. Even parts I thought were okay, and parts that I thought were great and useful added features were removed from me. Then God revealed to me that I had some cracks in my frame, and things were out of line, which explained why I so often went off the road, which damaged me even further. My motor and transmission were damaged from overloading and pulling a trailer full of baggage. The consistent high speeds had burned up important components, and anything that required maintenance had been neglected. Even my ability to play music was gone because my radio needed repair. It was stuck on an AM news station that talked about all the other successful cars, but never about me, unless it was negative. Now the only voice I heard was God's. The great designer and mechanic Himself. He's filled me with words of worth. He affirmed me that this process will be worth it. Everything has to be emptied to be refilled. Cracks have to be welded, which is extremely hot and uncomfortable, even to others who are close to the sparks. The sanding down is painful and requires endurance, even when I feel like I'm being rubbed the wrong way. He told me the better the sanding job, the more things will roll right off your back. And I had some things crossed too. I had to be rewired. I had things crossed and spliced, and even feeding electricity to dangerous places that could fry me or somebody else. He gutted my interior. I had no idea how stained and ugly it had become. It makes sense, though, with all the things I'd allowed inside that should never be inside of a vehicle. He removed that masking smell of the paper pine tree hanging from my rearview mirror, which was the only clean part of my car, since I was always looking back to the past. And after a lot of work, I'm brand new again. Amazed when I look in the shop mirror. Everything's new, God said to me proudly as He got out His trusty handheld mirror to show me all the things He had done. It's absolutely incredible the work that God can do. No one else can do it. I'm so glad I stayed in the shop to let Him finish. If I'd have pulled out, I never would have known this was possible. Then a chill ran all over me as He circled around me, breathing on me and polishing me up. He breathed on my windshield and wiped across it to reveal wonderful things in front of me as He said, I'm so glad you're mine. My fingerprints are on every part of you. I'm going to drive you to places you've only dreamed of and show you unimaginable things. And don't be scared of some of the things and places we're going, because only I, your builder, know what you're capable of. And boy, I've got some great surprises in store for you. And I just kind of wrote this little poem at the end of it. It says, when He knocks on your door, let Him inside. He's got the key, but He'll let you decide.
We got some classic cars here today. I look around at some aunts and uncles that are pretty unique, pretty great, and have poured into all of our lives here. I'm very thankful we're here. I also look around, and I know we can't help but talk about the ones we're missing, but they're still pouring into our lives. We're still thinking about them. There's still moments that are precious that just include them. But during that time, this last year, during that loss, and during our times of biggest storms and trials, one thing I know is that God is my refuge. He's the person I turn to. He's the only one that understands. Those moments when you're saying, gosh, nobody understands this, nobody knows. There is somebody who knows, and there is somebody who understands, and he wants to help us. There's a story told me I did children's church for 25 years.